Now, I'm sure a majority of you guys out there know that a couple of weeks ago, the new Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, took over the role of Bob Iger as the CEO of Disney. And a lot of fans have been very intrigued on whether or not Chapek will be able to handle the job that Bob Iger did in a better or worse way. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Bob Chapek is that, of course, we do know that he's hard at work on really changing everything over at Lucasfilm and to really create a better future for Star Wars as we know it. And a lot of the Kathleen Kennedy projects have been put to a halt or canceled entirely because of Bob Chapek, so we can thank him for that, honestly. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, like I've said before in the past, she's very incompetent as the leader of Lucasfilm, and I'm glad to see that a lot of change is being made. Now the fact that Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, George Lucas, etc. are going to have creative control of the specific choices to be made for this new Star Wars universe, more so than Kathleen Kennedy ever will, that to me spells that there is going to be a brighter future for Star Wars. It also tells me as a fan that Star Wars is really going to head into a more authentic route where it's going to feel more true to what George Lucas would have done if Disney did not buy out Lucasfilm, right? So, with that being said, what's really intriguing about all of this, apart from this, is that now that Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe and the new Star Wars trilogy of films and more, where it's explained that Disney has multiple plans in order to fix the Star Wars franchise properly and to create a better future for it moving forward. Now, it's noted that the new Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, is changing the Star Wars brand and the creatives over at Lucasfilm, where now that Chapek is making his own transition as the new CEO. Star Wars is heading in a better direction, where it's explained that Bob Chapek recently made major changes to the franchise, such as canceling many of the plans by both Kathleen Kennedy and writer and director Rian Johnson, where it's noted that originally one of the plans between both Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson was to create an entire new Star Wars universe that was going to steer away from the Jedi, the Sith, and the Force in general, where it's explained that Rian's new Star Wars films were going to redefine Star Wars and create a different version of the Force itself in a different galaxy. These plans have since been cancelled by Chapek once he took over as the new CEO, where Rian and Kennedy's idea for the new trilogy was also going to not include any of George Lucas's creations, such as worlds, destinations, characters, species, and more, as they wanted to move to a brand new galaxy for the Star Wars franchise. Rian was also given the opportunity to become a writer or director for The Mandalorian Season 3, which is also in early development, and that too was cancelled as well for Rian Johnson to become a part of that. So, obviously, this is a big, positive, change by, of course, Chapek, and kind of steering clear from a major disaster for Star Wars. This would have been horrible. Now, by them going over to a new galaxy is one thing, but for them to go over to a new galaxy and completely ignore the concept of the Jedi, the Sith, and even the Force itself, I think it would have just been a glorified science fiction trilogy with the Star Wars labeled on top of it all. That's how I see it, at least. Now, the fact that they were going to move away from the known galaxy in the Star Wars universe and heading into a new one and really introducing a brand new story from the ground up, basically what Rian and Kennedy wanted to do was they wanted to approach Star Wars like how George Lucas approached Star Wars, just literally starting from scratch and introducing a new trilogy that has nothing to do with anything that we know about so far. That, to me, I think, would have been horrible. It would have been a chaotic thing for Star Wars fans, and it really would not have done well at the box office, if I really have to say that. So, the fact that Chapek has, at least more common sense than Bob Iger here, I think is really good news. The fact that they are making these changes, I cannot believe that Rian Johnson originally was going to have a role in directing or writing The Mandalorian Season 3, which, by the way, is in early development. They're only doing, artwork and stuff like that. They plan to begin filming sometime in early 2021, and that's going to be released sometime in 2021 as well. Again, that's Disney's new plan as well, is they want 2 live-action Star Wars TV shows to release a year before the new Star Wars trilogy drops, and that pretty much comes directly in line with the Kenobi TV series, because that too will be dropping next year in November or December. And they could very well drop The Mandalorian in, let's say, for example, August, maybe October if they want to do that. So, with that being said, guys, I mean, like I say, let me know what you think about Chapek and his big change over at Lucasfilm. You know, what do you think about Rian Johnson's original take on his new Star Wars trilogy? This would have been a complete mess in my point of view. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.